The tree that I'm referring to in this video to help repair the lights is a 9-foot just cut aspen fir offered by GE. I purchased this tree about 4 years ago at Costco, and the tree has a feature of where you can light it with all white lights, all colored lights, or it will alternate between the two, the white and the colored together. These are LED lights. 2 years ago I had a branch of lights that went out. Then the following year I had another branch that went out, which was opposite of the one and a little bit higher on the tree that went out to begin with. And oddly enough, the white lights would work on the area that the colored lights were out on. But the colored lights would not light. As you can see here, I got a couple lights out in one of these bulbs. Right now, I've already fixed the tree and plugged the defective bulb in another one, and it looks like right now it's only affected maybe 3 or 4 bulbs on the tree. Got one here, here, and then there's one. Try to get it in the shot here, one there, and then one further back on the tree back there. But what I did was I took the bulbs out one by one, and they're a little difficult to get out, and I put each one off to the side. I did these individually, and I got a new bulb, a replacement bulb, make sure that and I made sure that it worked before I used it as a test bulb. And then each time I would remove one of these bulbs, then I would mark it with a piece of blue tape or masking tape, whatever you'd like to use, so that I wouldn't get confused as I went along. And what I found out was that when I reached a specific bulb, and to begin with I probably had maybe at least a dozen bulbs that were out, and plugged it in, plugged the replacement bulb back in, that they all lit. And you got to be real careful that you get the bulb in the socket completely, so it's all the way, the rim of the bulb is flush with the base on the string. Otherwise you're not going to be able to solve the problem. None of the lights will light because it's just not making the contact. These aren't like, I found the LED lights are not like the incandescent bulbs that where you plug it in part way and they'll light. These here have to be seated all the way and snapped in before they'll light. And after doing several of these, you'll find that your fingers get a little bit sore, and they are difficult to get in and out. Before I decided to try this procedure, I had contacted the manufacturer to see if maybe I could get new branches or something, because the Costco is no longer carrying the tree. And what they did was they had asked me for specifics on what branches weren't working. They are numbered in toward the trunk. And then what they did was they sent out a new string of lights for each branch level. So in other words, you had to go 360 degrees all the way around the tree and replace that whole level of lights. And once you take a look at it, it's a lot of work, a lot of tedious work, because you have to twist, fasten, and really just rewire the entire level, which is no easy task. So they sent me a box of lights to do the 2 levels of branches that were out, which to me was virtually no help whatsoever. For the purpose of this video, I put the defective bulb back in so I could demonstrate what I did. But I also noticed in this particular case now, I do have bulbs that are actually out in a branch that is a couple, or actually about a foot away, where some of the next to it are still lit. So it's kind of odd the way these are wired, and sometimes one area will affect another. So I've removed the defective bulb, and I now have a new LED bulb that I'm going to plug in, and in the defective socket, or not the defective socket, but rather in the socket that had the defective bulb. And once again, you can kind of hear it snap in place. And then the minute I did that, all the lights that were out previously are now lit. And that includes the ones in the adjoining branch that I showed just a few minutes ago. So usually what's going to happen and what you're going to find is there is a short in one of the bulbs that causes them to go out. And even though, you know, in the old incandescent lights where even if the bulb was burned out and in there, they would work, it doesn't seem to be the case with LED bulbs, because if they short, it's going to affect other ones in the string. So it made what could have been a real tedious task in restringing new lights on the tree to be not so bad after all. So hopefully this helps you out. Thank you.